The idea here is that they are not good oils and bad oils. They are not good fats and bad fats. It's the whole of the diet that plays a role in the person's nutrition and health. Hi and welcome to my channel. I am Tassos Koidis and I'm a university prof in food science and nutrition. In this channel, I'm helping you make better choices when it comes to food and to healthy eating. You go in the supermarket and then you see on one shelf olive oil, sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, and then you see also coconut oil, avocado oil that are very popular right now. And then you're wondering, how can I make a good food choice when it comes to our everyday oil? Which one is the healthiest? And also, which one is more compatible with what we're trying to cook? Let's establish 3 different sources of oils. Now, you can have fruit oils that are from olive fruit or from palm fruit or from coconut fruit. Then you can have seed oils coming from a seed, and then you have animal fats. And animal fats are, of course, the likes of butter, lard, and so on. When it comes to choosing cooking oil, we have to remember the 2 different approaches. The first approach is the health properties, the nutritional properties that this oil gives us, and the second one is the cooking performance. By cooking performance, we mean how exactly it behaves when it's added in foods, if it breaks down, if it is resistant, if it is thermally stable, if it adds any flavor, or if it is a neutral flavor in the dish that we're trying to make. Imagine that you are trying to make something sweet, like a bakery product, and then you add olive oil. So if you add olive oil, then you're going to have this green aroma that you probably don't want. That's why in baking we mostly use butter. By high temperature stability, we mean that we don't want the oil to decompose in high temperature cooking, and high temperature cooking can be frying, can be searing a steak, for example, can be deep frying, can be even baking. If an oil decomposes, this means that it's gonna have smoke, unless you want to do a smoke product, okay? You don't want the oil to smell bad, essentially, and giving off that flavor to your food. But let's talk about olive oil. Olive oil is a fruit oil. It's probably the most famous oil in the world, and it's celebrated both by consumers and chefs alike. If your oil is virgin, is mechanically pressed, and then you get just the best, the juice of the oil fruit in your plate. In terms of nutrition, it is rich in monounsaturated fats, and here an example is the oleic acid, which is C18-1, so 18 carbon atoms, long fatty acid, with 1 double bond, C18-1. And it has other important ingredients such as tocopherols, which is vitamin E analogues, and then you have also antioxidants such as polyphenols, so polar and non-polar antioxidants, which are beneficial for your health. Now, antioxidants are important because, as we say, they are tackling the radicals, the free radicals that can cause oxidation in your body. Olive oil has proven health benefits when it comes to your heart health, your arteries health, lowering cholesterol, and also prevention against diseases. When it comes to cooking performance, as we said, it's a green, grassy aroma that it has. So it's not compatible with everything that you cook. It can overimpose its aroma and flavor in other foods. And then it can mask also the flavor of other things, which we don't want to. It's stable enough, but it can be oxidized if you leave it in the sunlight or if you don't store it in dark bottles. Number 2, coconut oil. Coconut oil is a fruit oil. It is a white solid fat. The melting point is 24 or 76 Fahrenheit. Its popularity has skyrocketed in recent years. Look for refined, mechanically produced oil, which can be called virgin. Avoid unrefined, hydrogenated coconut oil. How can you tell? Refined oil will have no smell whatsoever. It will not smell like coconut. Virgin coconut oil will smell nice. It's a solid fat in room temperature, very easy to handle, and very stable in high temperature cooking. It can go as high as 250 degrees centigrade without degrading. You can burn your oven, kitchen before you burn this oil. It's amazing. It has excellent cooking performance, good shelf life, and then it can also serve in bakery as a replacement for butter. It's high in saturated fats, and especially the C12, which is the lauric acid with 0 double bonds, And this has generated some questions in the scientific community because they associated saturated fat with coronary heart diseases. However, today we know that the association is actually weak and the saturated fats shouldn't be demonized as they were demonized before. The idea here is that they are not good oils and bad oils, they are not good fats and bad fats. It's the whole of the diet that plays a role in the person's nutrition and health. Number 3, avocado oil, also a fruit oil. Very popular is the oil coming from the fresh flesh of the avocado fruit. It smells terrific if it is virgin avocado oil, but it can also be refined. So look for these differences between virgin and refined. If you are on the health conscious side, perhaps you understand that virgin is better than refined because the virgin is mechanically pressed and the refined is involving some chemical and physical processes to render it edible to eat, to remove some of the irritant for our throat compounds, some of the toxic ingredient that it has to make it edible. Like olive oil, avocado is rich in monounsaturated fats and especially oleic acid. This makes it good for your cholesterol. If we are talking about extra virgin avocado oil, is generally unrefined and retains all the aroma and the flavor of the avocado fruit. Like coconut oil, if it is refined, it will not have the aroma and the flavor of the original oil. It has a very high smoke point, 250 degrees centigrade, so it's really suitable for high temperature cooking. It can be expensive, it can be more than 10 euros, pounds or dollars per liter, but also there are issues around its sustainability. Sustainability when it comes to ethical production, when it comes to worker rights, and when it comes to the impact in the environment of the agricultural production. Number 4, sunflower oil. Now this is a seed oil. Let's talk a little bit about seed oils. They are coming from pressing obviously the seeds. Usually this process involves chemical refining. If it is mechanically pressed, they will be labeled as virgin, but we don't have virgin sunflower oil per se. We do have virgin rapeseed oil, you will see later on, but when it comes to sunflower, we usually have refined, deodorized, bleached sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is what we call a polyunsaturated fat. It's rich in linoleic acid, which is C18-2, so 2 double bonds in an 18 carbon atoms chain fatty acid, and polyunsaturated fats, they are much better for your heart than saturated fats. Overall, is a very good balanced oil. Other important consideration is that sunflower is quite accessible in terms of price. It's suitable for high temperature cooking due to its thermal stability and has also a good keepability, so you can keep it on the shelf. It is coming from a refining process. And some people will say that, oh yes, it's rich in omega-6. But omega-6 fatty acids are not bad fats. Both omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids are essential fatty acids. You need them in your diet because your body essentially cannot produce them. But the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, this is what is important. Now, sunflower doesn't have the best ratio between omega-3 and omega-6. We know that. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good oil or that it's toxic, that I see here people say. It is that you just have to include other types of oils apart from sunflower in your diet. Omega-6 are easy to find. You have in the soybean, in the corn oil, in the cottonseed oil, in the sunflower oil, in the peanut oil, in the sesame oil, in the rice bran even oil. All of them has omega-6. Omega-3 are more difficult fatty acids or oils to find, and this is because they are found in oily fish. Omega-3 is a group of unsaturated fats that have proven health properties and they are very good for you. Number 5, soybean oil. Soybean oil is a widely consumed vegetable oil. It is a seed oil with all its pros and its cons that comes with that. Also, it is an oil high in unsaturated fats, which is generally good for you in a balanced diet. The major difference of soybean oil to other oils is that it has a little bit of more of omega-3. Number 6, rapeseed or canola oil. It is produced from the seeds of the oilseed rape plant. Its production can be either virgin, mechanically pressed only, or refined and deodorized and bleached. It is predominantly an unsaturated fat. It has favorable lipid composition and it has a little bit of omega-3 as well. When it comes to its cooking performance, it has this nutty flavor and is also quite stable if you want to do high temperature cooking. It is not toxic by any means, like others letting you believe. There are no solvents or pesticides that are toxic in it. It contains some more omega-6, so the ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 is not the best, is not the most favorable, but it still is not toxic. Rapeseed has been associated with genetically modified organisms, GMs. So make sure that if you buy rapeseed oil, it's GM free. At number 7, we have nut oils. Nut oils are actually quite good. They have a very good lipid profile and they're very nutritious. They are rich in omega-3 and they also have a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio than other oils. So they're not really suitable for high temperature cooking because it will ruin their flavor. So do not heat them, just add them on the top of your dish. The other thing is that they are expensive. Number 8, butter and other animal fats. Now in this category we have butter, lard and tallow. Butter is made from milk or cream, as you know, but what perhaps you don't know is that butter is made of 80% lipids, fats, and 15% water, so it's not like a pure oil. This is what makes it sizzling when you add it in a hot pan. It has excellent sensory properties. Its heat stability is below average. It actually burns at around 150 degrees centigrade. So whenever you use it, in order not to turn brown, you have to mix it with other seed oils, for example. Modern studies have found that the association between butter and mortality, cardiovascular heart diseases and so on, it's actually weak. So it's not an excuse to say anymore that butter is bad for you. Actually it isn't. Honorable mentions. In these categories, we have flaxseed or linseed oil, we have mustard oil, we have walnut oil, and they are all rich in omega-3. Different category altogether is palm oil. Palm oil is the most widely used and the cheapest of all of the major edible oils and fats that we have said before. But generally, you cannot buy it and you cannot cook with it because it's not found in the supermarket. It is found in processed foods, bakery, pastry products, margarines, and all the other products. In fact, I want to do a separate video on palm oil because it's so widely consumed and it has a very complex sustainability aspect. Should we worry for trans fat? Well, the short answer is no. And this is because nowadays we have very few partially or fully hydrogenated vegetable oils because the manufacturers has stopped this procedure. But if you do find some, please remember that it might contain some trans fatty acids. And for trans fatty acids, we scientists, we are super sure that they are bad for you. So avoid them at all costs. What type of cooking oil I have in my kitchen? Well, for me, a blend of 80% olive oil and 20% rapeseed oil is a good balance between mono and polyunsaturates. And for rapeseed, you can also put sunflower, for example. It has a bit of omega-3 and it has a good omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. I try to eat the remain of the omega-3 from oily fish, and that is salmon, mackerel, sardines, and other sources such as green leafy vegetables, spinach, nuts, especially walnut seeds, pumpkin, chia, and hemp seeds. But what's the best overall meal that is optimum for health? For me, an obvious example is an oily fish, the likes of salmon or the likes of sardines, if I'm somewhere that I can get fresh sardines. I mix the fish with the oil, and the oil is 80% olive oil and 20% seed oil, and then I also sprinkle a bit of oregano or other type of herb. Now, what happens there? I have an omega-3 and omega-6 ratio, I have my oily fish, and then I have also the antioxidants from oregano. That's a complete meal which is nice for you. If you are more of a pasta lover, a recipe with even canned sardines will work, with some olive oil, some seed oil if you are into, and then also chili and lemon. If you got value out of this video, let me know down in the comments, click the like button, and also tell me, what kind of cooking oil do you have in your kitchen? What kind of food that goes along with the oils that they use? Consider subscribing and also hitting the notification bell for more important information around diet and nutrition coming up to you very shortly.